The quest for immortality, a fascinating and complex pursuit. The concept of immortality has fascinated humans for centuries, spanning cultures, religions, and philosophical ideologies. From ancient myths to modern scientific endeavors, the pursuit of eternal life has driven much of human curiosity, ambition, and imagination. Whether in the form of alchemy, spiritual beliefs, or cutting-edge biomedical research, immortality remains an elusive and compelling idea that continues to shape human thought. This essay delves into the various aspects of immortality, exploring historical perspectives, religious and philosophical views, and modern scientific efforts to overcome the limits of human lifespan. Ancient myths and legends. The quest for immortality has deep roots in ancient mythology. Across many cultures, stories of gods and mortals who sought eternal life or defied death are prevalent. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known works of literature, tells the tale of a king who embarks on a journey to find the secret of immortality after the death of his close companion, Enkidu. Although Gilgamesh ultimately learns that immortality is reserved for the gods, the epic explores the human desire to transcend death and the existential fear of mortality. Similarly, Greek mythology features numerous gods and heroes who either possess or strive for immortality. The Greek gods themselves were often immortal, but humans who sought eternal life were usually punished or thwarted by divine forces. One of the most well-known figures in this regard is Tithonus, a mortal whom the goddess Eos asked to be granted eternal life. However, Tithonus was not granted eternal youth, and as a result, he suffered from the ravages of time and became a withered, ageless figure, illustrating the dangers of desiring immortality without the accompanying vitality of youth. In Chinese mythology, the pursuit of immortality is also central to the culture, as evidenced by the tale of the peach of immortality. These peaches were said to grow in a divine garden and could grant eternal life to anyone who ate them. The search for these magical peaches, or other elixirs of immortality, became a significant aspect of Chinese alchemy and Taoist philosophy. These ancient myths, though fictional, reveal the deep-seated human desire to overcome death. They illustrate how immortality was not just about physical survival but also about the quest for meaning, purpose, and transcendence. Religious and spiritual views on immortality. The search for immortality also finds expression in religious beliefs, where the concept of eternal life is often intertwined with ideas of the soul, afterlife, and divine intervention. Many of the world's major religions offer distinct views on immortality, often providing followers with hope for life beyond death. In Christianity, immortality is central to the belief in the resurrection of the dead. According to Christian doctrine, through the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, believers are offered eternal life in heaven. This promise of immortality is not through physical means, but through spiritual salvation. The idea of the soul living forever after death forms the foundation of Christian views on immortality, emphasizing an existence beyond the physical world. In Hinduism, immortality takes a different form, one that is tied to the cycle of reincarnation. Hindus believe in the immortality of the soul, which is constantly reborn in different forms, influenced by karma from past lives. The ultimate goal of this cycle is to achieve moksha, or liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth, thus attaining spiritual immortality. This view contrasts with the Christian belief in eternal life in heaven, as it involves the soul's journey toward self-realization and unity with the divine. Similarly, in Buddhism, the concept of immortality is connected to the cessation of suffering and the attainment of nirvana. Unlike the idea of an eternal, unchanging soul in some other religions, Buddhism teaches that all things, including the self, are impermanent. Immortality, therefore, is not about maintaining individual identity but about achieving enlightenment and escaping the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This spiritual form of immortality is a profound liberation from worldly suffering and attachment. Islam also offers a vision of immortality, where life after death is central to the faith. Muslims believe that after death, individuals will be resurrected on Judgment Day, where they will be judged by God and either rewarded with eternal life in paradise or punished with eternal suffering in hell. For Muslims, immortality is a result of living a righteous life according to God's commands and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. While religious and spiritual views on immortality vary, they often share a common theme. Immortality is not necessarily about the preservation of the physical body but about the transcendence of the soul or spirit. These beliefs provide comfort and hope to adherents, offering an understanding of life and death that extends beyond the temporal, material world. The philosophical pursuit of immortality. Philosophers have also grappled with the concept of immortality, especially in relation to the nature of life, death, and the human experience. Some philosophical schools argue for the possibility of immortality, while others challenge its desirability. The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, as depicted in Plato's Phaedo, believed in the immortality of the soul. Socrates argued that the soul is eternal and that death is simply the separation of the soul from the body. For Socrates, immortality was not a physical state, but the continuation of the soul's existence in an ideal realm of forms, a perfect and unchanging world that existed beyond the flawed material world. In contrast, existential philosophers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus have taken a more skeptical view of immortality. Both argued that human beings must confront the reality of death and find meaning in life despite its inevitable end. Camus, in his essay The Myth of Sisyphus, suggested that the absurdity of life should not lead to despair but to a fuller engagement with the present moment. For these philosophers, immortality is less about transcending death and more about finding meaning in a finite existence. In modern times, some philosophers have revisited the concept of immortality through the lens of technology. For instance, the idea of digital immortality, where a person's consciousness might be uploaded to a computer or the internet, has become a topic of serious discussion. This idea, explored in the concept of mind uploading, suggests that humans might one day achieve a form of immortality through advanced neuroscience and artificial intelligence. Philosophers who entertain this idea question whether this digital existence would truly be the continuation of the self or simply a simulation of consciousness. The scientific quest for immortality in the 21st century, the pursuit of immortality has shifted from the realm of mythology and philosophy to the laboratory. Advances in biotechnology, genetic engineering, and regenerative medicine have opened new possibilities for extending human life, and perhaps even achieving immortality. Scientists are investigating the mechanisms of aging, studying the biology of cells, and exploring ways to slow down or reverse the aging process. One of the key areas of research in the pursuit of immortality is telomere biology. Telomeres are protective caps at the ends of chromosomes that shorten with each cell division, and when they become too short, cells can no longer divide and die. This process is believed to be a significant contributor to aging. Scientists have been investigating ways to extend the length of telomeres or activate enzymes such as telomerase, which could potentially slow down or reverse cellular aging. Another area of interest is stem cell research. Stem cells have the unique ability to differentiate into various types of cells and tissues. By harnessing the power of stem cells, scientists hope to regenerate damaged tissues, replace aging cells, and perhaps even rejuvenate organs. Some scientists are optimistic that stem cell therapies could lead to significant extensions of human lifespan, though the full potential of this research is still being explored. The field of genetic engineering is also promising. By editing the human genome, particularly through technologies like CRISPR-Cas9, researchers may be able to remove genetic defects, enhance resistance to age-related diseases, and improve overall health. While this technology holds immense potential, it also raises ethical concerns regarding genetic modification and the potential for designer humans. Despite the exciting prospects, there are many challenges and limitations to achieving immortality through science. Aging is a complex process influenced by genetic, environmental, and lifestyle factors. While scientists have made progress in understanding the biology of aging, no single approach has yet demonstrated the ability to stop or reverse the aging process entirely. Ethical considerations and implications. The possibility of immortality, whether through scientific advances or other means, raises profound ethical questions. If humans could live indefinitely, how would society change? Would immortality be available to all, or only to the wealthy and privileged? How would the environment cope with an ever-growing population? These are just a few of the ethical dilemmas that immortality presents. Philosophers, ethicists, and policymakers are already grappling with questions about the fairness and consequences of extending human life. While the pursuit of immortality may seem like an admirable goal, it could also exacerbate existing inequalities and create social, economic, and environmental challenges. Furthermore, some argue that immortality could rob life of its meaning and urgency. Without death, life might become less meaningful, as the finite nature of existence gives us the motivation to make the most of our time. Conclusion: the limitations of immortality. The quest for immortality is as old as human civilization itself. From ancient myths and religious teachings to modern scientific endeavors, humans have consistently sought ways to overcome death and secure eternal life. While significant progress has been made in understanding the biology of aging and extending human lifespan, true immortality remains out of reach. Whether immortality is achieved through religious belief, philosophical contemplation, or scientific innovation, the pursuit reflects humanity's deepest desires to transcend the limitations of our mortal existence. However, as we continue to explore the possibilities of eternal life, we must also confront the ethical, societal, and existential questions that such a transformation would bring. Ultimately, the pursuit of immortality is more than just a desire for endless life. It is a reflection of humanity's search for meaning, purpose, and understanding in the face of our inevitable mortality.